Gonna press the play button in 3, 2, 1, click. Hello and welcome. I had originally recorded this video talking into the mic, but for some reason I must have had my settings wrong because the only thing that recorded was the in-game sounds, but that's fine. So here's my plane. You can see I'm about 5 miles away from Anderson. I'm off at a right angle because obviously that's a huge part of it. 3,000 feet, 250 knots. Weather and everything is default, and let's go. So I usually use VR, but I've obviously turned it off for this video, but I felt confident because there was very little going on. I could use it just using my mouse to look round and my other hand on the throttle, which makes sense. So I'm in game, and as per the Grim Reaper's challenge to begin with, you can use the controls to sort of stabilise and set up the initial thing. I turn the air source off here because I hate the noise that thing makes. And then I realise I'm going far too steep, so I push forward, and you can see I've got the controls showing up on the lower left. Finished stabilising the plane and then not using the controls anymore other than the engines as per the challenge. The air source gets stuck on the screen there, so I have to press Alt-C to move the mouse around, and then Alt-C again to get rid of that annoying little DCS glitch that still hangs. So flying over top of Anderson Air Force Base now, we are going to require to do a bit of steering to get down there. So there's a small bit of differential thrust beginning, as you can see. Getting that getting that moment moving to the right to create that movement that begins a gentle right hand spiral down. I'm constantly fidgeting with the throttle controls, very much as if I'm flying in formation. Those people who fly a lot of aerobatics, specifically pushing it right to the edge, you know, you're doing solo aerobatics and you're really pushing it to the edge, the kind of flying that you just cannot do in formation because you don't have, you know, when your speed is falling down through 10 knots or less, you've got almost no control of the aircraft. It's all about the control you used up until that point and the moments you've set up, so that as you fall through that period of no control, it is kind of going the way you want. Think of it a bit like kicking a football. When that ball, once you've kicked the football, you have no control over that football. It's all about the way that you kicked it you know, as you kick it with your foot. That everything that you do there then later sets up the way that football goes, and that's the same with this. In a moment and a movement, the way you set everything up in the moment is then what happens in the movement. So for example, as the nose starts to dip, that's the moment, and the movement is we're going to lose height. And so it's about controlling the moment, the up, down, left, right moment, and not letting it get too crazy, because that will translate in huge movements later on. You can see here the nose is getting quite high, a little bit too high, but I've got to be careful now. Look, my engines, I'm not just cutting the power even though I want to, because then the moment is going to swing down and then I'm going to hit the ground, and that's obvious. So I'm trying to tease the nose down without getting the moment coming so violent that I can't then recover. Or I'm just going to end up firewalling the engines and start fishtailing, but along the vertical profile, up, down, up, down, up, down, trying to catch it. And you see here I've got too much power on because I'm trying to get that moment up again. And I'm happy with the way that looks now. Now we've gone a bit too far again, so I'm having to bring it down. I take the camera off the heads-up display there. Again, starting to add power now because I don't want to just slam down. I want to be down but not slamming. I've got a lot of power now because I don't want the gears to break. Pulling down because the moment's rocking back up. Teasing a bit, little bit of number 2 now because I'm drifting over to the right. Little bit of number 2, and the moment isn't going to hurt us now. We're too close to the ground. That is a pass right there. At this point I'm using the wheel brakes, but I become aware that I accidentally put a little bit of left rudder on here. That I think that's more just because when I press my pedals, if I'm not exactly pressing both of them equally, it can induce a bit of rudder, and you know, sorry if that's a fail, it's a fail, but we were already down and we were slowing down, so I'm happy with that. So to me that was a pass, so I now quickly run through the replay because, well, to help prove it, right? So I quit and I just go watch track because I didn't even save this mission, I just played it through without saving it. I've just pressed Ctrl Z a few times to speed this first bit up. I press right Control and Enter to get that up. To my displeasure, it doesn't show up when you're on the external view. There's the F4 view. There's F2. Zooming out a bit. And Control F3 to get the camera there. Zooming in using right control and the star key on the numpad. A lot of people don't know how to do that. That's how you get those zoomed in shots, but from far away. It looks really good. You see everybody who makes a lot of videos using that. Just like the F3 button, but it doesn't move the camera when you press it. So yeah, this was when we were lining up for a sort of middle-ish, longish length final as far as fighters go, but you've got no controls, this would be a very short final. Went to this view, you can see there the elevators and what were they called? They're not ailerons. Elevons or spoilers, flaps, any of that you see, none of it's moving. It's just still, same with the rudders. The only thing we got going there is the differential thrust. Inside again. That's what you saw before. So we get back outside. I'm trying to now put the camera on the runway for a dramatic landing shot, and I think I've found it-ish. Getting a bit close. Control F3 to lock the camera in place. Zoom in. So we come in, and as I was trying to arrest that descent, I balloon it ever so slightly. We start drifting to the right. I start adding a little bit of power on number 2 to get that left turn going, and boom.
That was pretty good, man.
You see it landed pretty quick, and you see there the augmentation system actually moving the... Or perhaps that's just the shaking of the plane on the ground. It did almost look like it moved a little bit there, the elevator, once after it had touched down. Anyway, that's it. So, nice one. Cheers. Hope you enjoyed it.